What's going on, everybody? Matt Malatesta here. We're at the Coach's Corner of St. Pius. This is Coach Greg Cranfill. Coach, you know, it don't get easier. Antonian, a really good program. Man, y'all fought a good fight against them. You'll have St. Thomas this week. Just talk about, going into Antonian, having a week off, and it seemed like y'all really kind of put it together a little bit.
Yeah, I was really proud of our kids, the way that we came out, the way that we had prepared through our open week, and not just for Antonian, but just to be a better football team, to focus on the things that we needed to do to get better. We made some changes like you and I talked about, changes that have proven to be beneficial for this football team. And we had some guys that stepped up, their game through that course of that open week. Because of the attention to detail that we pretty much told them, job's on the line, so you can either fix it right now or we'll talk about it the rest of your life. And it's funny, when I was in high school, I had a really bad shooting night one night, like really bad. Like I think I went 2 for 19 from the 3-point line, playing JV ball. And it wasn't, it's just one of those hard-headed things as young people. It wasn't anyone that could tell me that I needed to make a change. It was me that told myself, I have to change right now. And that next morning I went in the gym, Saturday morning, I went in the gym for about 6 hours with the basketball coach and said, change my shot, because obviously what I do does not work. And he sat there, Jim Harden was my basketball coach. He sat there with me and we fixed that thing. And from that moment on, things got better. But we often say people change for 2 reasons. They finally get smart enough to realize they have to, or they get hurt bad enough that they realize they have to. And what we hope is no one gets hurt bad enough that they realize they have to. We want them to be smart enough to make those changes. And that's kind of what we do as teachers and coaches, is try to put them in positions to say, all right, this is where you are, this is where you want to go. So this is the gap in between those 2 things. And these are the things you need to do to fix it. So, our kids did that during that open week. We came out, had 3 takeaways early in the first half, which led to 21 points. We were up on them 21-7. Then they scored late, and then exactly what we did to them, they did to us in the second half by a couple of takeaways, and, scored on us, a couple of times and ended up being 38-28. But I was really proud of our kids, the way they fought. And we had some guys that stepped up. I thought Braxton Pius did a great job at quarterback, and we brought another freshman quarterback up who ran a couple packages, Andrew Kirkland, who did an amazing job. I thought our offensive line played well. I thought our tight end, Nate Alvarez, played great. Josh Mitchell is always solid wherever he goes. He just, week in and week out, he does great things. And then defensively, I thought we had some guys that played well. Sam Williams played well, and Nick Woods played well. Had 3 takeaways. Ethan McMahon had 1. Nick Woods had 1, and Jackson Rogers all had 3 interceptions. And that's all we can ask for our kids, just to go out there and fight. And like you said, we fought the good fight. And, I kind of told them, if we die, we die. But let's at least throw the whole arsenal at them and live the rest of our life knowing that we were fighting, and we did that. So I was proud of them.
Well, first of all, who shoots 19 times in a JV game?
Dude, I thought I was the real deal, man. So here's the reality, Matt. My senior year, I was an all-state quarterback at Itasca.
Right.
Wasn't very good. All right. I'm just telling you, I had really good receivers. And in 1991, we ran the pistol and threw it around, and I threw for almost 3,000 yards in 91.
Wow.
That wasn't happening back then,
No.
So I say that because my freshman year, I don't even play football. And my sophomore year, I don't even play football until halfway through the season, because I thought I was a basketball and a baseball guru, But it just, I go back to Jim Harden, who was my coach. He always left that door open and said, I understand you're going through this right now, but if you want to come back, come back. And it always changed my coaching philosophy in allowing kids the opportunities to make mistakes and to come back and have opportunities to finish and play their career out. And we've had a lot of success stories in our 25 years, with the different staffs that we've had, of allowing kids to come back that junior and senior year when they didn't play their freshman, sophomore, and then go on and have great careers. I just think that we make decisions at young ages based on things that we don't really understand. Does that make sense?
Totally.
We look at life a lot through that microscope, and we need people to go, no, dummy, look at it through the telescope and the big picture. And that's kind of what all the coaches I've ever had the luxury of being coached by and coaching with have kind of taught me, that's the secret, is just establishing those relationships where those kids will fight for you. And by gosh, that's what we've got here, is a group of guys. And yeah, I thought I was a baller, man. I thought I could shoot. So obviously I couldn't. So
that happens so much. And one story that comes to mind for me is Harold Perkins. He played basketball at Side Park, and he's like, man, I don't really want to play football anymore. So he skips out and doesn't play football for like his freshman or sophomore year. And now he was like the freshman All-American football player at LSU as a linebacker. And I'm like, Harold, he goes, I don't know. I just taken a year off and didn't want to play. But his coach made him earn his way back into the locker room,
right?
Doing a bunch of things that, other kids didn't have to do to get himself back in the locker room. But that is really cool how coaches can kind of understand, because they can understand young people. And you're right. There's so many other outside influences, or just being a goofball kid that's like, hey, I want to try this, or I want to do this, or I got a girlfriend, and I got, it's y'all. What I love about high school coaches is it's always a rotating group of kids, and it's always kids, and you could go from 3A to 6A in taps in a moment's notice, and it's just so much coming at you every year, or even every week. You got a prom, or you got a homecoming, and it totally derail a season. But
one of my best friends, he was my defensive coordinator our first year at Itasca. He always had this philosophy. He goes, Greg, nothing in life surprises me. And I'm like, Greenhall, what are you talking about, man? I mean, sure, things surprise you. He goes, no, if you treat everything as a separate activity and understand that there are so many dynamics that are behind each decision, then you shouldn't be surprised at anything. And there are many times kids have walked into our office and said some of the most outlandish, crazy things. And I go, okay, it really doesn't surprise me, because of the fact that you got to understand all of the things that are coming from it, so
yeah,
who knows?
Hey, man, it keeps you young. Keeps you young for sure as a football coach. All right, let's talk about St. Thomas. St. Thomas is, golly, they're one of the best private school teams in the country, probably.
Yeah.
Great running game, very dynamic quarterback. Oh man, their defense is solid, but just, what are your thoughts going into, just having an opportunity to play one of the top teams in the country?
Yeah, the only thing I would have to correct you is you said they're one of the top private schools. They may be one of the top football teams in the state of Texas. I mean,
right.
And they played some public schools to prove that, and the fact that just like you said, they're so balanced on offense, with Cardenas coming back and Dante leading the show. Their offensive line, you want to talk about some blue collar workers that aren't afraid to get their hands dirty. That's what they do. And then they've got receivers, a plethora of receivers that are able to go make plays. So that's why they've been giving people problems. There's no magic potion they have over there. It's the result of hard work and great coaching. Defensively, I think they're as good as they have been, and maybe just a little bit better, just because of the fact that they work together as a unit. And you got to be careful when you look at St. Thomas and you look at Antonian and you go, man, they've been giving up these chunks of yards. So there must have problems with defense. Well, when you score 70 points like St. Thomas did, you're giving the other team more opportunities
Right.
on offense, even though if it is 3 plays here and 3 plays here and 3 plays here. But as quick strike as St. Thomas and Antonian are, offenses are going to get the ball back, and so they're very talented. But I will tell you this. We're going to go fight them. You know what I mean? We're going to put the gloves on, and we're going to go do everything that we're capable of doing, and get right in the middle of them and see how they fall, see how the chips fall. So that's the way it's been. That's the way it will always be. Is our kids are going to fight, and if it means running through a brick wall, let's do it.
And what's crazy is it's such a kind of an old rivalry,
Right.
And it just dates back decades, and that brings another piece to it. But it's a great Houston area rivalry,
Right.
that people don't, think of. But man, it stands the test of time for sure.
Absolutely. And that, I mean, when you say that, it comes back to me because of the fact that I've got to do a better job to increase that rivalry back where it was. I mean, they beat us the last 4 years, the last 3 years that we've been here. So, I put that on me to basically stir that rivalry back up. But in order to do that, we're going to have to clip them, and find a way to do it, and then roll. But like I said, we got a locker room full of kids that enjoy this game, enjoy the journey that we've been on, and understand life is about a process, and that's what we're going to go do. So,
well, hey man, you do as one of the best in the city of Houston. We're with Coach Greg Cranfill of St. Pius X. They're going head to head with Superpower St. Thomas this week. We'll see how it goes. We'll talk to them next week. This is Matt. We'll see y'all at the games.
go Panthers.